Hey guys, what is going on? Jurgen from Zurgrinosports here, and today we are back at it again with some more of our 2K22 Universe Mode series. I feel like a broken record, but it's the delays because I'm super busy, full-time job, training to be a wrestler, in the gym, all that shit. Don't really have time on my hands. I try and make the time, but shit, pops up. So, with that being said, this will be the last video on 2K22. And I changed my plan. My original plan was 2K22, then we'll just do really quick booking, really simple booking on 2K23 to get to Mania 40. And then quick booking to kind of catch up to the present day and then go from there in 2K24 kind of thing. We're going to go straight to 2K24 because 2K24 has all the 2K 2023 arenas. So that makes sense to me, right? So we're just going to go to 2K24 after this. They also have the WrestleMania 39 stage, which is still going to be LA in my booking. So this episode is going to be the build to WrestleMania, right? And then the next episode will be on 2K24. It will be Mania. It'll be a two-night Mania. So I guess the next two episodes will be Mania. I will actually have separate episodes for night 1 and night 2 just to kind of give it the same feel. I'm going to record them on the same day and have them ready on the same day so it's not months in between, though. Like I said, I'm going to try and keep the booking really simple. It's going to be hard for me because I like to try and be creative and book compelling stories, or at least what I figure to be compelling stories, so that my creative side might take over and be like, oh, I can really do this with this, and then take too much time to write it. This Mania card has been like 80% of it has been set in stone since I started this series, but just filling out the story to get there kind of takes me some time, and then it takes me time to sit down and write it, and then I gotta sit down and record it and all that stuff. So once again, apologies as always, broken record for how long it takes to get these out. It really just is because I have absolutely no time. So thank you if you are watching these still for sticking with me. If you've stopped watching, fully understandable. This channel's probably dead, but it's a creative outlet for me, so I'm gonna keep it running. You know what I'm saying? That's basically how I feel at this point. If life ever changes and I end up having more time to do content more frequently, then I will. But yeah, so anyways. Yeah, without further ado, we just had Elimination Chamber. You know what I'm saying? I think we crowned some new champions. Do I know my own booking? Yes, kind of, I do. I don't know, actually. But, yeah, I think Theory won the U.S. title. Lashley won back the WWE title. Cody Rhodes cashed in on Roman Reigns after winning the Money in the Bank briefcase from Malachi Black. And then he's the new World Heavyweight Champion. And, shit like that. We had a couple Elimination Chamber matches. 3 of them, actually, I think, was kind of overkill, but it is what it is. So, down since day 1-ish. Yeah, down since. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we will go through all the promos for the night, and then we'll go through the matches. There's only 2 of them that we're going to need to talk about. We'll open up the match card like this. You can see one of the matches on the card right here. And then, so let me pull out my handy-dandy book, you know what I'm saying, and we'll go through basically all the story beats for the first week of Raw. It's a 6-week build, by the way, so strap in for a long episode, especially because I fucking yap like no other. So, week 1, right? You know what I'm saying? In the women's division. So let's talk about Rhea Ripley's path to WrestleMania. So she would celebrate winning the Chamber this week. And maybe probably early in the night, she would have her promo, whether it's in ring or backstage or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But she would basically say that she'll be patiently waiting tonight to see if Shayna Baszler shows up and chooses her as her opponent for Raw. So really simple for Rhea. Nothing much here. So, yeah. In terms of Mr. Austin Theory would gloat about his well-deserved victory of the U.S. Championship. Of course, it was at the hands of a turning Finn Balor with JD McDonough. And Theory would say that since he is a quote-unquote fighting champion, he's going to grant AJ a rematch. However, AJ is not here. He suffered a concussion, at Elimination Chamber due to the attack by Balor and McDonough. And Theory forces the ref out there, forces him to ring the bell, and then it's a count-out win, and then Theory kind of celebrates, overall, or very exaggeratedly. Afterwards, he would declare his intention to become the greatest United States champion of all time, and he knows just the way to do that, which is defeating one of the best U.S. champions, if not the best of all time at WrestleMania. So he challenges John Cena to come challenge him for the title at WrestleMania. There you go. That's not a copy of WWE's booking, by the way. He did an interview with Chris Van Vliet and said that Cena's his favorite wrestler. Cena's nearing the end of his career, which we especially know now that, he declared 2025 is going to be his last year. Even back then, you could tell, he's probably just got a couple years left. And I was like, that's a good program for Theory to have, considering that's his, hero or inspiration or whatever. Okay. In terms of Mr. Samuel Zayn, Sammy would be looking for Kevin Owens backstage throughout the night, probably earlier in the night. He would find him. He would apologize to Kevin Owens. He would say, listen, Kev, you were right this whole time. And I would really like it if we could, mend fences, water under the bridge, and we can, come back from this. Kevin Owens would say, listen, man, Sammy, I'm happy that you stood up for yourself last night. These are still on Sundays for me in my booking, I think. I don't know if I've been consistent with that. After Mania, I'll probably follow the Saturday, thing that Triple H took. I was very used to it being on Sundays when I was growing up because that's how I grew up with it. So when they switched to Saturdays, I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I like it a lot better. You know what I'm saying? It does feel good. So anyways, that's just a side tangent. Kev would say, listen, Sammy, I'm happy you stood up for yourself and you broke free from the bloodline, but I'm done. I'm not, you've been pretty shitty to me. And I just, I don't really want anything to do with you, man. It's not, it's just, I'm done. So yeah, that's what's going on. Sammy does have something else he's doing tonight, but we'll get to that in a second. Touching back on Mr. Finn Balor. Finn Balor has a promo where he would say that AJ deserved what happened to him at Elimination Chamber. AJ hijacked the faction that Finn Balor started, and he wanted to be the leader when there was only one true leader, and that is Finn Balor. JD McDonough understands that, and that is why Finn Balor recruited him and enlisted his assistance to kick AJ out of the Bullet Club. Actually, as its undisputed leader, he is now going to refer to the faction officially as the Balor Club. And if anyone has a problem with that, they can take it up with Big Boss Balor or some shit like that. So there you go, dude. There's that going on. All right. Cody Rhodes would have a little segment tonight where he would be celebrating, and he would get interrupted by, probably early in the night, by the way, because Cody's in the main event, and we'll get to that in a sec. Cody would be celebrating, and he would be interrupted by Gunther, who declares that he will be dethroning Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. So he would tell Cody to enjoy that title for the next 5 or 6 weeks, however long he has, because it'll belong to the Ring General after those weeks are past or whatever. Gunther would leave. Cody would stay in the ring, and he would call Sami Zayn out to the ring. Sammy comes out, kind of confused. Cody would say, listen, I wouldn't be champion right now without what you did last night. You know, there's no guaranteeing I would be champion right now without your input last night. You never got a fair shot at the title with Roman. I think you deserve one, and I want to give it to you tonight. And that is our main event right there. World Heavyweight title being defended. Cody Rhodes versus Sami Zayn. Lots of promo stuff, bro. And we got, this is going to be a long episode. It's 6 weeks of build and a lot of build. Okay. Edge and the rest of the Judgment Day would have a promo in the ring. You know what? It would probably be Rhea would be involved with this. You know what I'm saying? And she would maybe start the group promo saying that she's waiting for Shayna. And then the rest of this stuff would happen. So it could be later in the night. It doesn't have to be early in the night, like I said. But yeah. Edge and the Judgment Day would have a promo talking about, what happened in Elimination Chamber. Edge says that he can finally work. Oh, that's fun. That's cool. Yeah, that's... Welcome to the peak of fucking production value on this channel, pal. Let me just plug that in. Let me just do one of those. Okay, yeah, go fuck yourself, pal. So, and my controller is going to fall off my desk because my setup is shit and the wire... it doesn't matter. Edge says that now he can finally work back towards a world title opportunity because, he, as a stipulation of his match with Roman Reigns a while back, he could never challenge again as long as Roman's champion. But now that Roman's no longer champion, he can finally work towards it, whether it's Cody Rhodes or whether it's Gunther. As he's saying Gunther, boom, Black Mass by Mr. Malachi Black, and then a beatdown from him, Priest, and Rhea Ripley. And they stand tall. You know what I'm saying? All right. Is this the last thing for Raw? I think so. Okay, we're getting there, pal. Well, I mean, a couple other things, too. But, yeah. Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Let's start building to that, pal. Because, I mean, The Rock, rock-bottomed Roman at Elimination Chamber, right? Roman would have a furious promo, basically. After everything he's done to elevate this family, elevate the business, The Rock turns on him, He demands that The Rock comes out to acknowledge him. Obviously, The Rock isn't there, bro. He had to go film a shitty C-list movie that's never gonna get any good ratings, but because he's a big name, it's gonna make a little bit of money. Probably not profit, though, because his wages are probably insanely high. Anyways, probably shouldn't shit talk The Rock if have aspirations of being a pro wrestler, but that's fine. We'll use it for a storyline down the line or some shit. You know what I'm saying? No, Rock made Roman would say that Rock made a huge mistake, and someone has to pay for it, even if it isn't Dwayne. And we'll get to that in a second. You could probably tell where that's going. Okay, so 2 more little things. The general manager, let me just double check right here. The general manager of SmackDown would walk into the Raw GM's office tonight on Raw, and then the door would close and they'd be discussing something. You know what I'm saying? So, bada boom, bada bing. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so, that's the promo stuff. Let's get through the matches, you know what I'm saying? Let's get in there. Yeah, cool, whatever. Shut the fuck up, dude. Yeah. Let's go, dude. Load us in. Yeah, we don't need the fucking pyro and all that hally-boo, ballyhoo, whatever the saying is. Okay, so we are going to simulate this matchup. Asuka is winning. Basically, there would be kind of a moment where Becky and Charlotte go face-to-face. They face off during the match. As they're distracted, Asuka would hit Becky with her finish. Or maybe not her finish, because I guess she uses the Asuka lock, right? But maybe one of her strikes or something. Raquel would hit Charlotte with whatever her finish is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm not going to lie to you. And then Asuka would get the Asuka lock on Raquel and win the Fatal 4-Way. You know what I'm saying? And then in this match right here, the Bloodline would interfere. It'd get thrown out as a no contest. They would beat down They would beat down the both of them. The both of them. You know what I'm saying? They would beat them down. And, yeah, they would interfere. Let me just double check one more thing, actually, real quick. You know, if I was a professional, right? If I was a professional, I'd know what I'm talking about. Yeah, no. So we're gonna give the win to Cody in the game just so he keeps the title and I don't have to fucking put it back on him manually. But yeah, that's Raw. All that promo stuff happened, building towards stuff. Bloodline interference in the main event for no contest officially, or double DQ. I don't really care. As Cody wins in a non-win, basically. And that Fatal 4-Way. Other matches, there would absolutely be other matches. I just, I haven't been booking Raw fully. I will be going forward, which is a bad idea because I already don't have time and I'm only booking the one show, but that's fine. It's fine. I'll deal with it. It's fine. Okay. Alternatively, I might just do like an overview pay-per-view thing where I'm like, hey, this is the story at this pay-per-view. You fill in the blanks in your head. But again, my creative side will probably be like, nah, but I want to tell this story, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'll quit yapping. Let's go to SmackDown, dude. All right, here we are with SmackDown. Hopefully my gameplay has not frozen. If it has, I will not re-record it because I do not have the time. And I'll make sure to actually announce the matches instead of just being, hey, here's this match, here's the winner. So let's get on to SmackDown. We will run through the match card for SmackDown first and then promos after, just because we have actual matches to do that with. So we'll go ahead and start this up. We'll skip the fucking shit like we normally do, and then we will go through and get some matches and all that fantastic stuff. You know what I'm saying, dog? I don't. But yeah. So, there you go. First match of the night, Ricochet Nakamura. This is just a exhibition matchup, and the winner is Shinsuke Nakamura. Mr. Chad Gable. You know what? No, I'm doing this the wrong way, because this fucking shitty goddamn music is going to play the whole time. So I'm going to get back here. Right? And then we're going to listen to fucking Randy Orton voices, or I'm going to cut it out because copyright is a fucking ridiculous joke these days. So, yeah. How would I do it? I would announce it and then go. Yeah, I forgot. I'm so out of practice, bro. Anyways, Ricochet versus Nakamura. That's a singles match. Bada boom, bada bing. I mean, I just told you Nakamura won, but whatever. Second match of the evening. Alpha Academy has a match against Los Lotharios in the tag team division. Mr. Chad Gable also has some promo stuff, which I'm going to talk about right now. Chad Gable would, either before or after Alpha Academy have this match, would challenge Drew Gulak to a match for the Intercontinental title since he was the one who eliminated him inside the Elimination Chamber. Gulak would not respond to that challenge. You know what I'm saying? So, bada boom, bada bing. Third match of the evening, Fatal 4-Way between these women. Wow, I wonder what could happen here. It's almost like there was a mirror image on Raw. We'll get to that in a sec. This is a rematch of a match that happened, I think, on the Go Home or the week before or something, to Elimination Chamber. Some backstage squabble could, they could just be like, you know what, you think you're so good, fight us again, and they just have that tag match. Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin, maybe in Corbin's gambling ring that's been going on. He could, talk shit about Drew. Drew would be like, hey man, you're talking a lot of shit. How about you go talk it in the ring with me tonight or something, or up next or some shit like that, and Corbin gets, amped up for it, or maybe Moss accepts for him or something. I don't really care. Just admittedly just a throwaway match, filler match. And then in the main event of the evening, the WWE Tag Team Championships are on the line as the Hurt Business defend against Ali and Mansoor, who have earned a shot in the previous few weeks, now that Mansoor has started following Mustafa's lead. Will that hot run of form continue, or will the Hurt Business retain? We'll have to wait and find out. But while we do that, while we wait, I don't know why my voice did that. Let's talk about some stuff, man. We have Sheamus will have a promo, and he will call out the Brutes, specifically Pete Dunne, but the whole entirety of the Brutes, and ask Pete Dunne what the deal is, his deal was at the Chamber, because Dunne kind of eliminated him when they were working together, I think is what I had done, and then he just kind of did a shrug kind of thing. Dunne would stare at him blankly, and then just do his little shrug. Sheamus would keep, grilling him, asking him questions like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, you're getting a big head because Regal gave you a rub. Like, what's up with that? And, Dunne would just repeatedly kind of look at him for a second and just kind of shrug like he does. Sheamus would, ask him, like, is this some big joke to you, fella? Or some shit like that. I can't do accents if you're new. And then he would get blindsided, as well as Mr. Holland, by the grizzled young veterans. They would attack both Sheamus and Ridge Holland. They would hit him with their fucking specials and all that stuff, their finish, which I've seen many times, but I could not tell you because I have the memory of a fucking 1-year-old, so basically no memory. But they would do that, and then they would let Pete Dunne hit something cool, maybe his finish on both, maybe something else. I don't really care. Pete Dunne hits something each. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. Looks like the Brawling Brutes are broken up, dude. But Pete Dunne is accompanied by the grizzled young veterans because they are fucking awesome and they should have been on the main roster, but WWE didn't know what to do with them. So now they're fucking in AEW. And AEW needs them because their tag division's kind of fucking dog ass, bro. And I don't watch AEW, so don't take my word for it. It's just they're kind of dog ass, bro. But yeah, man. That is that. Let's get some more fucking story stuff. Hold on, let me flip the pages in my book, dude. You know what I'm saying, dog? Okay, cool. Also, Rey Mysterio would ask backstage the general manager of SmackDown for a shot at the tag team titles. It's a dream of his and Dom's to win the tag team titles at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? They've won them before, but they didn't get to do it at Mania. They were so close, but they got put on the SmackDown before Mania when they won them. I think that's when they won them the first time, right? If I'm wrong, scratch that. But it's their dream to win them at WrestleMania. The GM says, listen, I'm not just going to give you the shot, but there's a title match tonight. If you can beat whoever loses that match, the most recent challenger or the former champions, whatever the result ends up being, next week, then you guys can have your match for the tag team titles or some shit like that. Right? So there you go. That's that one right there. Buddy Murphy would get interviewed backstage regarding his number one contendership for the WWE title. You know what I'm saying? Lashley would walk by during the interview. The interviewer would be like, oh, speak of the devil. They would stare each other down. Murphy would say something. Doesn't really matter. Just be like, or just, hey, like, in 6 weeks, I'm going to bring all I have. And I'm going to come away with that title. Something super simple. I don't care about the specifics. Lashley would kind of just like scoff at it, and then he would just walk away. And then Murphy would end the little segment by saying he won't be scoffing when he's in the ring with me. I assure you of that. Or when he's looking up at the lights at WrestleMania or something like that. Just something super simple, bada bing, bada boom. You know what I'm saying? Holy fuck, this is going to be a long episode. God damn it. Bianca Belair would be cutting a promo after winning the SmackDown Women's Championship against Io Shirai. She would get cut off by Shayna Baszler, who announces that she will be facing Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. That simple, little stare down, go to the next segment. We don't got that much time. It's Mania season. We're trying to fucking shove a lot of shit onto the card. Cesaro would be asked about Regal's condition backstage. Regal's condition is not good. He would be asked why he threw in the towel for him. And he would kind of take a second and just be like, respectfully, I decline to comment at this moment, or something like that. Bada boom. Super simple. Bada bing, bada boom, you know what I'm saying. There you go. Cool. Okay. Also on SmackDown, by the way, at NXT this week, the Raw general manager would have been in the NXT manager's office. This week on SmackDown, both the Raw and NXT manager, who were nameless in my storyline because I couldn't care, are in the SmackDown general manager's office. What could they be cooking up? Who knows, man? Okay, let's simulate these matches and go through it all. You know what I'm saying? So, bada boom, bada bing. Okay, cool. So Alpha Academy absolutely beat the Lotharios. See, I didn't say the Los Lotharios. They're not the Los Carnales. They're just the Carnales. Los means, forget it. If you know what that's from, I love you forever. Rick Boogs will get the pinfall on Garza. Why not? Doesn't really matter. Fatal 4-Way, kind of similar, and by very similar, I said that backwards. Sasha and Bayley will have a similar thing to Charlotte and Charlotte and Becky. Stare down kind of thing, except this time Liv pushes Mia Yim into them. They tumble out of the ring. Mia Yim is right at the ropes. Oblivion off of the ropes. 1, 2, 3. Liv wins this fatal 4-way by pinning Mia Yim. This tag team match, the return rematch, is won by Shotzi and Tegan Nox, dude. This match is won very quickly by Drew McIntyre. And then this match, Ali and Mansoor are on a roll. They look like they're getting ready to win the titles, and Mansoor disregards something Ali tells him to do. He goes his own path. Maybe it's like, tag me in, I got it. And he's like, no, I got this. I'll win these for us. And it ends up costing them. And the Hurt Business retain the tag team championships to end off the show. You know what I'm saying? So, there you go. That's SmackDown Week 1. We'll be back at it with Raw Week 2 in a moment or two. You know what I'm saying? In reality, it'll be like a couple seconds or like, just like bam. All right, here we are with the second week of Raw on the road to WrestleMania, dude. So let's go ahead and go in here, look at the match card, go through the promos, all that stuff. The good old jazz. Raquel Rodriguez versus Charlotte Flair in a singles match. Raquel hit her finish on Charlotte. Charlotte has a bruised ego. She wants a match with Raquel. It doesn't matter. It's just a singles match. And then our main event of the evening is Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. I will tell you how we get there in a brief second. So let's go through it. But first, Rhea Ripley. Let's get back to her, dude. That the way I'm telling these storylines and stuff is probably going to be the same order every way, just because that's the order that my notebook is in, so it's easier to just flip page to page. You don't need to know that. That's just a behind the scenes thing. Whatever. Let's go. That first fucking week took, I think, a half hour, 25 minutes or something. Let's not do 25 minutes for 6 weeks, because this, fuck. Rhea Ripley would cut a promo. Whether it'd probably be another, Judgment Day promo where she would have a bit and then the rest of the guys would have a bit. But she would say during her time to speak tonight that something like, since Shayna Baszler is too scared to face me, guess I need to find myself an opponent at WrestleMania. So I'm going to lay out an open challenge, and we'll find out who answers it next week. or something like that. There you go. Super simple. Tingle in the balls. That sounds out of context because that's a woman. I feel more comfortable saying that with a guy because then you know I'm joking. But with a woman, you might be like, it's a guy talking about tingling balls with a woman. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what I'm saying. It's fine. Austin Theory would come out and then he'd be like, John Cena, I called you out last week. I know you're a man who likes to answer challenges, step up to the plate, come on down. Cena does not come on down. Theory's kind of waiting. He's like, what gives, Cena? What gives? Maybe you didn't see me challenge you or something. Maybe you were like overseas filming a movie, time difference. You didn't catch Raw live last week. You know, maybe that's what happened. You know, so just in case you didn't get my first challenge, John Cena, I challenge you to a match for my United States Championship at WrestleMania. Something super simple like that. He could have a match, a singles match, non-title, or for the title. It doesn't really matter. I didn't book it, but it can be there. I don't really care. Week number 2, Sami Zayn would have a super passionate promo in the ring, kind of like the one he did on the go home to the real life Elimination Chamber. Maybe call him Tabernacle. It won't get a huge pop like it did in Montreal, but maybe get a pop either way. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't really matter. But he would call out Roman Reigns, and he would challenge Roman Reigns to a fight tonight, and we'll get there, but Roman would accept this challenge, so that's how we get to that main event. That's how we get to that main event later in the night. Going back to the Good Brothers and Finn Balor and JD McDonough, the Good Brothers would confront Balor backstage. Balor would be in his dressing room. You know, JD would kind of be in there as well. They'd come in through the door. JD would kind of stop them on their way in and be like, "Hey, do you have an appointment with the boss?" And they'd be like, "Appointment? No. What appointment?" He's like, "Well, you need an appointment to speak to the boss." And then Balor would be like, JD, it's okay. Let them through this time. It's fine. They, you know, I'll give them a pass this time." They would ask him, you know, what's wrong with him? Why'd you do what you do to AJ? And Finn would be like, I guess you guys didn't watch the show last week. I don't know where you guys were last week, but, you know, AJ had it coming to him. He hijacked my faction, tried to act like he was the leader. I'm the leader, and everybody knows that. You know? And he'd be like, and you know what, guys? Why are you so quick to defend AJ anyways? I mean, think about the success you guys had in Japan with me. You know? And then how little you've accomplished in WWE with AJ leading you. You know what I mean? Like, it's an easy choice, fellas. And I hate to put you in a tough spot, but you are going to officially have to pick a side. There's a right answer. I trust that you guys are going to make that answer, but it is your choice to make. So you have to pick a side, me or AJ, and I'm going to need your decision next week. I trust you choose. I trust you'll choose correctly. Jesus fuck, I can't speak. So there you go. That's what that one's set up. It might be a good idea to have JD work a match or something to introduce him slowly to the crowd, kind of thing. Again, I didn't fully book the show because I haven't been. So there you go. Gunta would have a interview or a vignette or like a vignette style interview, something where. In the main thing that he gets across is that Cody Rhodes should be preparing for him like he would for a war. You know what I mean? Cody, throughout the night, would probably be hyping up Sami for his match with Roman. He would say, you know, if anything goes wrong, just know I'm keeping an eye on your match and I have your back if you need it, kind of thing. But you go out there and you show that son of a bitch who you are, kind of thing. But yeah, Gunther's main thing is Cody should prepare for me like he would prepare for war, because that's what it's going to be for him at WrestleMania. Malachi Black in a Judgment Day promo would explain his actions, say that Edge formed the Judgment Day to leech off of the next generation of superstars, and that when that generation started to outshine him and overtake him, he actively worked to suppress that growth by them. And the others share in this, philosophy. Priest agrees, Rhea agrees. And Malachi Black says, they've all outgrown Edge. They don't need him anymore. And at that regard, the Judgment Day is no longer a thing. It does not exist. This is now the House of Black. I am stealing that name from AEW because it's a fucking sick name. Edge's music would hit, and they would all haul ass, Metalingus, specifically, his music, not a fucking Brood or whatever, just Metalingus would hit on this day, and he'd come running out to the ring. They'd be like, oh shit, they'd get out of the ring. He'd be fucking, mad as fuck, and they'd be hightailing it out of there. So there you go. Roman Reigns would respond to Sammy's promo. By the way, I said he accepts the challenge, but we'll delve into the specifics. He would call Sammy a parasite. Roman actually considered making him a member of the bloodline. Do you know how lucrative it is to be made a member of the bloodline by initiation instead of by being born into it? You'd be the first one ever. Paul Heyman technically, but you'd be the first outsider that we ever let in. And I was right there. If you would have just known your role and shut your mouth, but instead, Sammy, you threw it all away. So I'm going to take care of you tonight. I'm going to take care of this big problem that you made, this headache that you caused. I'm going to get rid of you. You're going to be done. Nobody's going to see you again after tonight. But Dwayne, don't you think I forgot about you? I'm going to show you what I'll do to you if I'm given the opportunity. I'm going to use Sammy as an example. Or some shit like that. Doesn't really matter. I don't care. I didn't write a full promo. Just that's me spitballing. So, yeah. There you go. Yeah, man. In terms of the general managers meeting up and all that shit, we got something to do with that. We also got a promo from Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch would have a promo, and she'd sit there and be like, oh, man, Mania's coming around. This would be before the Rhea Ripley promo. I have to specify this, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. But Becky would say, man, Mania's coming around. I'm not booked. I don't really know what I'm doing, So it got me thinking, And when I spiral, and I started thinking about last week. And what happened in my match with Charlotte. We had this moment, eye to eye, kind of cost us the Fatal 4-Way. And then I thought about how something really similar happened over on SmackDown with Bayley and Sasha Banks. The other two members of what the internet and the wrestling world likes to call the Four Horsewomen. And that ultimately got me thinking of the little stare down between us in the Royal Rumble match, and how when that happened, the whole crowd lit up and you could feel an energy in the crowd. And then that got me thinking about how the Four Horsewomen have never fought each other in a Fatal 4-Way match on the main roster. We had one in NXT before any of us became the world-class talent. While we were all prospects, we had it. We've all gone on to become world-class wrestlers, some of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. And since that growth, since that establishment of our star power and our legacies in this sport, we've never crossed paths in a Fatal 4-Way. And that now has me thinking, WrestleMania is coming up in LA. Box office show, box office match might just be the Four Horsewomen finally having their fatal four-way on the main roster. So I'm saying let's make it happen. Some shit like that. And then, bada boom, bada bing. Charlotte's match would probably be before this, and she'd probably already have left for the night, so she doesn't respond to it tonight. This match, once again, has to happen before Rhea's promo, because if Rhea's like, hey, open challenge, then why the fuck is she talking about this fatal four-way? I mean, you still could, but it's just like, okay, well, you don't know what you're doing at Mania. They just issued an open challenge. Go fucking fight them for the title. But that's not what we're doing. She calls out this challenge, and then Rhea sets out her open challenge, so it's kind of like, okay, well, she already kind of put her foot in, so it makes sense that she's not answering a next week, spoiler alert. So, yeah, there you go. And then the general managers of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT announce, whether in the ring or backstage, that they have all come to an agreement to have an interpromotional triple threat match at WrestleMania, with the representative of each brand having to earn their spot in the triple threat by winning their own respective triple threats on their brand. And this interpromotional agreement will also feature cross-promotional singles matches over the coming weeks with the involved competitors. You know what I'm saying? So, there you go. Let's go ahead and simulate these two matches. I'm sure you can figure out who wins, because there's kind of only two right answers. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we don't need to see that. We don't need to see that shit. You know what I'm saying? Get that out of here. So, Charlotte Flair, of course, wins. LOL. Roman Reigns wins this match. But Sammy's, still moving after the match is done, and he's like, what the fuck, what? And then he beats on him. Bloodline comes out to beat on him. Cody Rhodes comes down for the save, fends off the Bloodline. We go home off the air with Cody and Sammy, not necessarily standing tall, but standing resilient. You know what I'm saying? So Roman Reigns gets that win right there. Let's go over to SmackDown. All right, here we are with SmackDown, dude. Let's go through the match card. All right, so Bayley versus Mia Yim starting us off. Second match of the evening, Shotzi versus Peyton Royce. Little fucking social media interaction or backstage thing to set this up. Don't really care. Just a singles match, you know what I'm saying, with their tag partners in their corner. The Mysterios get a chance to face, Ali and Mansoor. Ali and Mansoor would have like a little pre-match thing where Ali would be like, listen, man, I get what went wrong last week. You wanted to be the one to win, and I completely understand that. That early in my career, I wanted to be the guy. But please, the month leading up to that shot last week, you were following my lead, and everything was working perfectly. Just, if we go back to that, we can get our way back to those titles, maybe even onto the WrestleMania card for those titles. Just please, trust me and follow my lead. You know what I'm saying? Bada boom, bada bing. Match number 4, Pete Dunne versus Ridge Holland. He would probably be, not probably, but he would be accompanied by the grizzled young veterans. But I don't think I got a chance to download them off the community creations before they got shut off on this game. So I don't have them, so I didn't put them there. But just pretend they're there. You know what I'm saying? Match number 5, the Alpha Academy versus the happy crew of Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss. You might notice Gable is not in their corner. There is a reason why, but we'll get there. And then in the in-ring main event, there is a segment that's the actual main event, but the in-ring main event is Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, and Shinsuke Nakamura. The winner will go on to represent SmackDown in the interpromotional triple threat match. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and run through the promos and stuff that we need to know, and then we'll get there. So Gable, somewhat earlier in the show, would challenge Drew Gulak yet again to a match for the Intercontinental title. This time, he'd be in the ring, by the way. This time, he would bring out a PowerPoint presentation that he put together that highlights and showcases how he eliminated Gulak from the Elimination Chamber. Still no response. They'd be like, okay, well, you can't hide from me forever, Gulak, or something. They go back to the locker room, maybe coming back from commercial or something, or later in the night kind of thing. Otis and Boogs would be in the locker room with Gable. They'd be like, hey man, we're gonna go get a quick pump in at the training room. You coming? And Gable would be like, yeah. I'm just getting, I just got to sort out a couple things in my bag here, and then I'll meet you in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Let's go get a training session, something like that. They leave. Drew Gulak, storms the locker room. Maybe hitting Gable with the title or something like that. He gets him in a Dragon Sleeper until refs and agents come in and pull him off of Gable. You know what I'm saying? The way that the tag match with Alpha Academy is set up later is they'd be walking by. Corbin and Moss would be... Mostly Moss would be mocking, them for, oh man, like you couldn't even stick around and help your boy? Like, what's up with that? They'd be like, listen, if you want to talk smack, talking in the ring, pal, you know what I'm saying? They're finally getting receipts for all the shit they've been talking. And then Corbin's like, dude, what the hell? Have you seen the size of them? Why are you picking a fight with them, man? 2 weeks in a row, like, you McIntyre and these guys, what's wrong with you, dude? And then they have that tag match later. So, there you go. In regards to Mr. Pete Dunne, Dunne versus Holland is just announced ahead of time. The Grizzled Young Vets would help Dunne beat him a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily give him the win, but fuck with Ridge throughout the match kind of thing. They would attack him after the match. Sheamus would run in for the save afterwards. There you go, dude. And then we gotta get a bunch of pages later to get to more SmackDown stuff in my book. Here we go. Yeah, man. Oh, fuck. Shit. Okay. Almost ripped my book in half. That's fine, dude. Buddy Murphy would get a vignette, which would be cool. The interviewer... What? What did I just say? Sorry. There would be an interview with Bobby Lashley, where maybe throughout the night, an interviewer is telling, the commentary team, like, she's requesting an interview with Bobby Lashley. MVP said, I'll see what I can do. We'll see if he has time for you, kind of thing. Late in the night, Lashley would finally come out and be like, all right, let's make this quick. I'm a busy man. I got important things. Her first question would be about Buddy Murphy. Last week you guys had an intense stare-off. You're going to meet at WrestleMania for your title on the line. You scoffed at him last week. What was that all about? And then Lashley would be like, wait, this is what you want to interview me about? I thought you had something important to ask me with the way you've been pestering all night. Something that actually mattered. But if you're just going to waste my time with these irrelevant questions, this interview's over. And then he goes back into his locker room, kind of thing. So, there you go. The main event of the evening is a contract signing between Shayna Baszler and Bianca Belair for WrestleMania. But guess what? Io Shirai makes her entrance as the second one of them is about to sign the contract or whatever. Or maybe just as they've signed it or something. I don't really know about the legality of it. This is a small detail that I'd have to refer to people for. But she would declare that she's invoking her rematch clause at WrestleMania and making this a triple threat. Shayna would be like, listen, you can't just do that. This is my moment. I won the Royal Rumble for this. What are you doing? Io's like, I'm doing it. You can't stop me. Shayna would swing at Io, who would duck. Shayna would then hit Bianca. Bianca would be like, well, fuck. You hit me. I'm going to hit back. A brawl would break out between the three of them. Eventually, the brawl would end in Shayna and Bianca being stacked on the signing table and Io moonsaulting, and hopefully she's heavy enough to break them through the table. I'm hoping that's enough weight. She's a very small woman, so table spots like that might not break, but the idea is, you gimmick the table, but the idea is, stack them, moonsault them through, rip up their existing contract, and then point to the camera and be like, this is mine. I'm in this match now. I'm taking back my title. one of those gimmicks. Cesaro would be interviewed yet again about him throwing in the towel for Regal at Elimination Chamber. Once again, he'd be like, I felt that... actually, you know what? I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to decline to comment again. I'm really sorry. I don't want to discuss this kind of thing. And you know, he would go on about his business. You know what I'm saying? Bayley, after her match with Mia Yim, you can probably guess where that's going, would grab a mic and say, you know, I heard what Becky said on Raw. I'm in. Boom. There you go. That simple. And then we talked about the inner promo setup. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and simulate through these matches, and then we'll move on to week 3. You know what I'm saying? Week 3. Bro, let's get through here, man. Let's get through here, dude. Come on, dude. Here we go. Okay, so Bayley beats Mia Yim. In terms of match lengths, probably not very long. We have a lot of promos and stuff because we're on the Mania season. So a lot of these matches would be fairly quick, sub 10 minutes. Which is a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We got to build to Mania. That's more important. I'm trying to put at least like good matches in those times and just, you know... yeah, so, you know, get some people over, get some people established, stuff like that. Because a lot of the people that are going to be on Mania aren't really wrestling week to week in this build, I'm going to tell you right now, because they've got promos and stuff to set it up and segments. So, as a result of that, that's, you know, time for this little mini rivalry that's developing to get some TV time and stuff like that. Speaking of which, Peyton Royce beats Shotzi. This tag team match, kind of similar thing. Not that they would have had the Mysterios beat, per se. It would just be like miscommunications kind of from the get-go. They never really get going. See what I did there? Because Mansoor is not following Ali's lead, which leads to the Mysterios winning. And you know what that means? That means they're getting a shot at the tag team titles. You know what I'm saying? Pete Dunne. I think I gave away the match when I was talking about the match, the promo and stuff. But yeah, Pete Dunne beats Ridge Holland and all that stuff. The Alpha Academy defeat the Happy Crew. Madcap Moss can take the pin by Mr. Rick Boogs. And then in this triple threat match, Drew McIntyre is going to win this triple threat and go on to represent SmackDown in the interpromotional triple threat match. We'll find out who the other two are in week 3. So we'll get there in a sec. All right, here we are with Raw. Really quickly before Raw, because I realized I forgot to mention it during the SmackDown week 2 portion, Sasha Banks was watching Bayley's match from backstage, and she was watching as Bayley said, "I'm in" to Becky's Fatal 4-Way Challenge, and she would give kind of like a, "Oh, okay," kind of nod. There you go. Just want to say that because we would have just finished SmackDown, so it's fresh in the mind. Okay, week 3 Raw. Let's do it, dude. Okay, so Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Samoa Joe. The winner of this match will represent Raw in the interpromotional triple threat match. Bada boom, bada bing. Asuka versus Becky Lynch. Cool. Nikki Cross versus Trish Stratus. We'll get there in a sec. Carl Anderson versus Jordan Devlin. We'll get there in a sec. Or JD McDonough, but he was still Jordan Devlin in 2022. And then handicap match in the main event. We'll get there in a sec. So, whoops. Okay. Bada boom, bada bing. Also, keep in mind, LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes versus Cameron Grimes on NXT for their representative in the triple threat match of Mania. I'll just tell you right now, LA Knight wins that one. So, there you go. Okay, Trish Stratus answers Rhea Ripley's open challenge this week. Rhea asks what she's doing. You know, you're not even an active roster member. You know what I'm saying? Trish says that even though she's a little bit rusty, she has what it takes to beat Rhea Ripley. Rhea would be like, Trish, I really doubt it. You know, tell you what, how about you have a match tonight? I'll pick the opponent. You know. And if you can pass that test, I'll consider you accepting my open challenge. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit contradictory, but she's a heel, so she can get away with it. There you go. Cool. Bada boom, bada bingy. Theory would come out. Still nothing from Cena. Cena's music would hit. Then nobody would come out. And then Theory, in a bit of a kind of playing off of his dumb gimmick from The Way, he'd be like, damn it. I thought if I played his music, he would have to come out contractually. You know, I just thought, maybe that's just how that worked. Hit his music, he has to be there, You know what? What if he is here, but I just can't see him? Well, that might be the case. But just in case you still aren't here, John, I don't know why you're ducking my calls. I phoned you, but you still ain't calling. I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. Just in case, John, once again, I am challenging you to a match at WrestleMania. Something like that. Just super simple. Super duper simple. Okay, Sammy and Cody Rhodes would have a promo during the show, calling out Roman and the Bloodline for what they did last week. Roman would decline. We'll get into more of the specifics of that in a sec when we talk about the build to him and Rock. But basically, he would tell the Bloodline to handle it. You know what I'm saying? The Bloodline says, they can give you another beating if you want. Maybe that'll solve the problem. Sammy and Cody are, but you guys don't have a third tag team member, so I don't know if you guys want to do that. And they're like, oh, no, we'll accept that challenge. Us two versus the U3, which is the Usos and Solo. You're on. So there you go. Bada boom, bada bing. So that's how that sets up that main event tonight. You know what I'm saying? In regards to Finn Balor, the Good Brothers come back into his arena. JD sees them. He's like, hey, I don't think you guys made an appointment. We discussed this last week. You need an appointment to see the boss. You guys didn't make one. He gave you a pass last time, but I can't really, you know what I mean? It's just protocol. They would shove JD into a locker or against the wall or something. They would blast through him, and they would say, hey, Finn, you know what, man? You can shove it, okay? Okay, screw this new you, screw this new attitude, screw you for what you did to AJ when you didn't deserve it. You're talking about leaders. There doesn't have to be a leader. Bullet Club doesn't need a leader. We can all be equals, But you want you to feed your ego and have a big head. Screw you, shove it. We're not taking you. We're taking AJ's side, and when he's healthy, believe you me, he'll beat your ass or some stupid, just simple stuff like that. Balor would take offense to it, not necessarily to him, but he'd be like, "Listen, okay, you guys are grown men. You can make your own choices. That's the wrong choice. That's fine, but." I'm not going to stand for what you just did to JD. He's a good guy. He understands how things work here. And you just assaulted him. So I'm not going to stand for that. And then JD would be like, listen, boss, let me handle it. Carl Anderson, you and me in the ring tonight. Or some stuff. Super simple. Set up a match between them. Bada boom. Bada bing, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. There you go. In terms of Gunther, der Ring General, he'd have another interview / vignette kind of showing, his acumen, I guess, of violence. Maybe he says he'll paint the canvas with the remnants or the remains of Cody Rhodes, and just basically impending doom. He's like, Cody, hug your wife and your kid while you still can, because you might not be able to after you face me, not beat me. Why would somebody say that? Okay. Edge would call out Malachi Black to fight him. Malachi Black would respond on the Titantron, saying that he's not going to stoop down to Edge's level, but he did put together something that he thinks Edge and everyone else should see. And it is basically, if you guys remember during the pandemic, Aleister Black at the time had these really fucking cool, like, Japanese graphic novel kind of, I don't know how to call the style because I'm fucking not very intelligent and don't know what things are called. But he had this like graphic novel kind of fucking storytelling vignettes. So he'd have one of those. And it would basically showcase the early days and the good days of the Judgment Day. Not necessarily the good days, but the early days where, the old guy in the story of the graphic novel uses his students or his up-and-comers around him to get to the top or stay at the top. You know what I mean? I didn't want to actually write one out because I'm not creative like that, or I can be, but it would take a while for me to write that out, and I'd have to really fucking write it out, and at that point you might as well make it, and I don't have the means to make it. So, but yeah, basically it would be one of those vignettes that he had in the Thunderdome era, which were fucking amazing, and they did nothing with him because they released him right away or something, or his contract expired, or I don't know. They fumbled so many top talents. It's insane. But yeah, one of those, and basically what it showcases is the old guy who's maybe past his prime using his students and the younger people to keep himself at the top. There you go. That's that one right there. Roman Reigns, you know what I'm saying? So this week, The Rock is advertised as being in attendance. So that is why Roman Reigns tells the Bloodline to handle their business with Sami and Cody on their own, because he's focused on The Rock. The Rock would basically explain that he rock-bottomed Roman for the same thing he said at the Chamber. Roman has disgraced their family by parading himself as the tribal chief or as the head of the table when he's not. Roman says, there are two paths forward from here. He's family, so he's going to give him a shot to de-escalate things, make things right. Path number one, he beats The Rock into retirement. That's the nuclear option. That's if Rock doesn't want to play ball. Number two, Roman says that path number two is The Rock acknowledges Roman Reigns as the tribal chief and as the head of the table, and it is all water under the bridge. The Rock would then mockingly acknowledge Roman. I acknowledge you as a jackass, or I acknowledge you as a big fucking moron, or stuff like that. You know what I mean? I acknowledge you as the man who lost his World Heavyweight Championship to Cody Rhodes a few weeks ago, or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Just like those mocking, I acknowledge, but yeah. And then, it'd be like, no, let's seriously, let's cut the crap. I'll be serious. I don't acknowledge you, Roman, because you haven't earned the title of the head of the table. You haven't earned being the tribal chief. You have to take that from the real head of the table, or the real tribal chief, which is me. And if you want, you can try to do that at WrestleMania. Roman accepts. Bada boom, it's official. Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania in LA. Charlotte Flair has a promo where she accepts the Fatal 4-Way between the four horsewomen. And, yeah. And then we'll get to who qualifies for the interpromotional triple threat in a second here. So we'll go ahead and start the show. We'll go ahead and skip this shit. We'll simulate the matches, and then bada boom, bada bing, we'll go over to SmackDown. God, this is going to be such a long video, dude. Holy fuck. Lots of build. Lots of build. It's all right, though. Okay. Mr. Seth Rollins is winning and going to the triple threat. And once again, please keep in mind, LA Knight wins his triple threat with Mello and Cameron Grimes. And he is the one who goes on to represent NXT. So it's LA Knight, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre. There you go. Becky Lynch defeats Asuka this week. Boom. Trish Stratus defeats Nikki Cross. Once again, this is Sanity version of Nikki Cross. This is not this, whatever the fuck this is, like personal trainer, Fitbit video, whatever, Zumba class instructor, Nikki Cross, whatever. She just looks like a Zumba instructor in this image. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. If that's harsh, I apologize. It's just she doesn't look like a wrestler. She literally just looks like a fitness instructor, which is whatever. I guess Trish also doesn't look like a wrestler, but I just know she is because she is. Same thing with Nikki, but it is. I don't really care. Trish Stratus beats Nikki Cross. Shows that she still got it. JD McDonough beats Carl Anderson clean. I do want to establish JD as a viable person. Not clean in the sense that, you know, he, once again, I explain this all the time that I say a heel wins clean. He's a piece of shit, dirty piece of shit during the match, but it's no like, the ref's distracted. Here's a fucking Pele kick. Oh shit, now JD capitalizes. It's clean. But Finn Balor and JD McDonough, excuse me for the pause. My shoulder's really fucked and I can barely move it, and I had to move it, and instead of yelling in agony, I just bit my tongue. Post-match assault, and there you go. In this match right here, the numbers game is utilized by the Bloodline. They are able to win by pinning Sammy. But it would probably take, like, you know, they put like Cody through the table and then Big Samoan Spike to Sammy and then a double splash kind of thing. Whatever, they win. Post-match assault, they're beating him up. These would not be back-to-back, by the way, because they're both post-match assaults, but yeah. Back to beating him up. Brennow now. Kevin Owens comes down for the save. And after they fend off the Bloodline, him and Sammy have a moment where they look at each other. KO hugs Sammy. All is well in the world. So, Bloodline win. But, you know, the odds were even at the end. So, there you go. On to SmackDown. All right, here we are with SmackDown. Hold on a sec. Hold on. I'm a man with a plan. Okay, sorry. Just had to. All right, week 3, SmackDown. Let's do it, dude. We'll go through the match card real quick. Singles match, Rey Mysterio versus Cedric Alexander. Tegan Nox versus Billie Kay. Ali and Mansoor versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. But once again, I didn't have a chance to download them before the servers were cut off, so I just got 2 other British people that have been currently associated with Mr. Pete Dunne, Mr. Peter England himself. Shelton Benjamin versus Dominic Mysterio. Bada boom, bada bing. Pete Dunne versus Sheamus. I can't remember if for week 2 I said it or not, but after the beatdown on Ridge Holland, Sheamus kind of came in, you know, to protect Holland. And then this match was set up kind of thing. So there you go. Liv Morgan versus Sasha Banks in the main event of the evening. So there you go. So we'll get through how we get everywhere. Drew Gulak would have a PowerPoint this week showcasing his attack on Mr. Gable. Gable would run in. Gulak would get out of the ring. Says if Gable wants his match, then he can answer the Gulak Invitational next week. You know, and Gable will like mouth to him like, "You're on. Like I'll answer that any day of the week. That title's coming home with me next week," or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Bada boom, bada bing. Speaking on Mr. Peter England, Sheamus versus Dunn happens. Grizzled Young Vets are involved. They have their own match, which is advertised as their in-ring debut because it's a big deal, because they're a big deal, because they're a great fucking tag team, and they should have been treated as such. Fuck you, Vince McMahon / Paul Levesque / Shawn Michaels. Maybe not the second two, because I'd like to be signed by WWE one day, but that's fine. Grizzled young vets, blah, blah, blah. Once again, post-match assault. This time, bada boom, bada bing. Sheamus and Ridge Holland later in the night would be talking backstage about how they need to stick together at this time because of Pete Dunne and his brand new cronies. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. And then we'll get to some more stuff in a second here. If my fucking page would flip, you know what I'm saying? Page Turner. There we go. Okay. Bada boom, bada bing. So early on in the night, and by early on I mean probably opening promo, the Mysterios would, the Hurt Business would probably come out and be like, listen, we know what the general manager promised to the Mysterios, and we understand that, you've earned your shot at the titles, and we'll respect that. We'll give you your shot at the titles. But we're not going to do it at Mania. You see, after we've carried this brand for the past year, we're actually kind of planning on taking Mania off as a vacation. A well-earned vacation for carrying this tag division for this year. So instead, we're going to give you guys a shot next week. Ray would come out and be like, okay, that's not what we wanted, but that's fine. Because instead of winning them at Mania, we can beat you next week and then defend them at Mania. It won't be the same, but it'll still be a very cool moment, So, whatever, you're on. But, I'm not booked. Dom's not booked. You guys aren't booked. I'm thinking, Cedric, you and me in this ring right now. Let's give these people a preview of next week. How about that? He's like, yeah, sure. They have their match. Bada boom, bada bing. You know what I'm saying? So, there you go. In terms of the other member / leader / head figurehead of the Hurt Business, there would be a sit-down interview between Cole and Buddy Murphy, or somebody, maybe Graves or whatever, but just, a presence in WWE. Murphy would talk about his journey to this match, you know what I mean? Like moving from Australia, his whole career kind of thing, the Cruiserweight title, NXT titles, tag titles, all that stuff, how it's all led to this. And, he would talk about Lashley disregarding him, disrespecting him and their match. And Murphy says, I know how good I am. If he's, at least half, if he's at least somewhat intelligent, he'll know how good I am. So in my mind, he's playing mind games by downplaying me and my challenge of the title. But none of those mind games will matter at WrestleMania when the ref counts 1, 2, 3, and he's staring at the lights, and I'm lifting that WWE Championship above my head to a sold-out stadium of people cheering for me. Because this has kind of turned Murphy kind of heel. Maybe not heel. Maybe not face, but kind of tweener-ish, you know what I'm saying? Because Lashley's the defined heel kind of thing. But yeah, it's like a slow burn face turn. At least that's the intention. Would it go over with an actual crowd? I would hope so, because Buddy Murphy's great, even though he stole Rhea Ripley from me. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Never spoken to her before, but he still stole her from me. It's just, you understand, right, guys? But yeah. I really hope people understand that I'm making a dry humor joke when I say stuff like that, because I don't giggle after it all the time, but some people actually think like that, and it's kind of sad, but I'm making a joke. You know what I'm saying? Please. Just in case I ever actually meet these people and this somehow gets clipped or something, please. I'm just joking, okay? Not really, though. But anyways, Yeah, that's basically it. So we have that Murphy sit down interview with Cole or whatever. Um, this would probably open the show. Um, not the Hurt Business thing. Hurt Business would probably be the promo after the opening of the show, or this promo segment would go between the first and second hour, that hour change when people are tuning in and all that stuff, at 9 p.m. Eastern. There would be a contract signing for the triple threat. It would devolve into a brawl again. This time, Shayna would be the one who emerges strong. Maybe she, slams someone through the table or something. Maybe she chokes both of them out or something. Or maybe one of them, maybe Bianca hits the KOD on Io and then Shayna chokes out Bianca or something and lifts the title over both of them. Doesn't really matter. I kind of like that, though, that I just spit it up on the spot. Spitfire, spitballed on the spot, you know what I'm saying? So why not? We'll go with that. Sure. But yeah, that can be at the turn of the hour, to get fans engrossed at 9 p.m. when they're switching channels. And yeah, man, big promo this week where William Regal returns. He calls Cesaro down to the ring, and he asks Cesaro why he threw in the towel. Regal says that Cesaro knows how much that match meant to him and that title meant to him. Why did he throw in the towel? The world's been asking for weeks and you haven't told them, but I'm asking you now. And out of respect for me and our friendship and our mentorship and our relationship in this industry, you better tell me, Antonio, why did you throw in that towel? I still had fight left in me. You know that, right? Cesaro would he wouldn't decline to answer, but he would kind of like look at Regal and kind of like be like, you know how when people like will subtly lift their hands and like not shrug but kind of shrug and kind of turn their head a little bit or like nod their head when it's like, you know what my answer is going to be, you know the answer yourself, but I don't want to say it because it'll hurt you kind of thing. One of those, he'd give him one of those, and then Regal would be like, I still had fight left in me, Antonio. You know that, right? No answer, what again? Right? No answer, what again? And then Cesaro would kind of take a moment and be like, at that point in the match, I didn't think you could come back from all the damage you had taken, and I didn't want to see you take any irreversible damage, any more than you've already taken at least. And I know you were never going to quit. I know you meant that when you said it. I'm sorry, Mr. Regal, but I did what I felt that I had to do. You mean too much to me to watch that happen to you. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Regal would kind of just look at him with a hurt look on his face and then just leave the ring. You know what I'm saying? A little somber moment there, pal. We'll get to it in the main event there. But Sasha says something after her match. You could probably guess what it is. And McIntyre would probably they'd probably just promote the fact that McIntyre's representing SmackDown in a triple threat in a promotional match or something, or he'd have like a quick backstage thing. It doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and simulate these matches. For Shelton and Dominic, we'll get there in a sec, but it would probably be a case of based off of the first result, something or other. Okay, so Rey Mysterio defeats Cedric Alexander. Later in the night, Shelton would probably be like, hey, you know what, man? You got lucky against Cedric, but that little piece of shit you call as a son, he's been talking mad game. He's got a smirk on his face I don't like. How about him and I get in the ring and give these fans another preview? Except I don't think they're going to like this one as much. Or some shit like that. Super basic, set that up, and it'll be later. Mrs. I don't actually know. Doesn't really matter. Tegan Nox defeats Billie Kay. The Grizzled Young Veterans get a win. over Ali and Mansoor as the wheels continue to fall off on their tag team. Once again, Ali is trying to get Mansoor to calm down, follow his lead, learn from him. Mansoor wants to be the hero, and it's not working. Shelton Benjamin defeats Dominic Mysterio. Pete Dunne defeats Sheamus. Did I give away the result of this also? Post-match beatdown. And then backstage, we gotta stick together. I think I did. I keep accidentally giving away the results of these ones. Maybe I'm doing it to all of them and I'm only noticing that I'm doing it for Pete Dunne. I don't know. I'm fucking tired, bro. Sasha Banks wins this match and then grabs a mic and she says, Becky's in, Bayley's in, Charlotte's in, the 4 Horsewomen Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania, I'm in too. Something like that. And we go off the air with that match being made official. So lots of big matches being made official for Mania. Gunther Cody, Lashley Murphy. You know what I'm saying? Now the Fatal 4-Way between the Horsewomen, the Interpromotional Triple Threat. You know what I'm saying, dude? It's some good shit happening, man. Some good shit happening, dude. There's some good shit. Roman and The Rock. When it should have happened, instead of them waiting a fucking year and all that shit, and then not even doing it because them Cody crybabies couldn't handle the fact that somebody else is a bigger draw than your boy. Nah, I'm not bitter. I'm not sad. You know what I'm saying? I just still want Roman Rock. The match will probably be ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. The match will probably be kind of boring and ass. But just the spectacle. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those matches, I think it would really cement Roman's legacy and how he turned his career around. Because you're talking to one of the biggest Roman Reigns haters up until the Tribal Chief gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Character. I will actually say character. It's not a gimmick, it's a character. There is a difference. I always say there's a difference. A gimmick is a throwaway thing that it's just you adapt the gimmick based on the situation or just fit it in. The character adapts to the situation. You know what I mean? The situation, you know what I'm saying? Like Rhea Ripley being mommy, and mommy's always on top. That's not really a character. That's more of a gimmick in my eyes. And that's not a bad thing. That's just, it's, hey, I'm going to cut a promo and I'm going to find a way to say my catchphrase. That's fine. That's not a problem. It's over. She's over as fuck. Rightfully so. She's one of the greatest women's wrestlers on the planet. She's super young, so she's only going to get better. But it's just, I don't know. I'm yapping, bro. Whatever. Let's go on to week 4. All right, week 4, dude. Let's do it. Raw. Okay, so let's go through the matches. Yeah, it's a big one to start things off, huh? Oh, I went to edit. Whoops. That's not what I'm trying to do. Okay, cool. So, big one to start off the show. John Cena and Trish Stratus versus Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. We'll get to that in a second, how it comes about. Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins, as I discussed a couple weeks ago when the general managers announced the interpromotional match. That agreement came with some interpromotional singles matches in the build-up. So, this week we get Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre on Raw. There you go. Third match of the evening, Gallows and Anderson versus Jordan Devlin and Finn Balor, JD McDonough, whatever you want to call it. It's fine. Call him. Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. We'll get there, but it's basically as simple as, hey, let's give the fans a preview of WrestleMania. Let's run it back. That's literally all it is. And then in the main event of the evening, a big 6-man tag. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes versus The Bloodline. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's get through the bill. Oh, I almost dropped my page, and I don't know what that noise was that I made out of my mouth. Okay, so Rhea Ripley and Trish Stratus would open up the show. Rhea Ripley would be accompanied by Damian Priest. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I mentioned it last week, but Rhea Ripley, Black is not out there for these promos. Damian Priest is out there for these promos with Rhea. just because, and she would put it over as, that sick old freak Edge. He might try and attack a woman, because of how much of a sick old freak he is, or some shit like that. Not necessary, but just as a way of like, okay, well, Malachi Black isn't out here, but Rhea is. But Rhea also, is out here with Priest, kind of thing. But yeah. Doesn't really matter. Priest just needs to be out here for the promo this week, so he doesn't even need to be out there last week. It can just be this week that he's there with him, because maybe Edge is on a rampage and she's fearing for her safety or something, but then that kind of puts her down, because she's not like a woman, like diva woman. She's like, hey, I'm bigger than like half the guys on the roster, because the roster is kind of undersized these days, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm going on a tangent that doesn't matter or serve the purpose of building these matches. So, yeah, man. Basically, Rhea comes out. She calls Trish out, and she says, good job last week. I hope I put out an open challenge. You're the one who answered it. And, let's do it. I agree. Kind of thing. And Trish is like, well, I mean, it was an open challenge, so it's, it was kind of already official when I answered it, but, that's fine. You do whatever mental gymnastics you want to do in your head to make it seem like you're granting me something. It's, it's fine. You do what you got to do, kind of thing. But, we have a match at Mania. The people are going to love it. I'm here tonight. I really enjoyed being in the ring again last week. I'd like to be in the ring again this week. So let's say we give these beautiful people here in fucking, I don't know, Cleveland, Ohio, whatever. Isn't Cleveland crowd really shit? Somewhere with a good crowd. Let's give these lovely people a little preview in a tag match to open up the show. You and Priest, and then me and a good old friend of mine. Rabadoo, do 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 do. John Cena comes out, tag team match to open the show. Bada boom, bada bing. Very cool. Speaking of John Cena, Theory would blindside and attack him after the match. And he'd kind of, be beating him up. And in between, he'd kind of be like, why'd you make me do this to you? Why have you been ignoring me? Why, if you just answered my challenge, I wouldn't be doing this to you. You made me do this. Why? Kind of stuff like that while he's beating the fuck out of him. And I mean beating the fuck out of him. Like, hey, I got Cena for a few weeks. I'm going to fucking use Cena for a few weeks. You know what I'm saying? Pause. Anyways. Yeah. Main event time. The baby faces of Cody, Sammy, and KO would probably have like a group promo. They would challenge the Bloodline to a 3v3. They would accept. And there you go. Super duper simple, dude. After the post-match beatdown and stuff last week, it would have been announced that this week Balor and JD McDonough would face Carl Anderson and Gallows in a tag match, which we saw earlier. It's just a tag match. There is an injury after. It's fine. For the Gunta part of this, Gunta has another vignette/interview. Once again, prepare for the apocalypse. I might take more than your title. I might take your head. I might take your arm. I might take your leg. I might take that shitty little neck tattoo, slap it right off your skin kind of thing. Really elevating Gunta. Because in my booking, this is the first time the Mania audience has seen him. He doesn't have that year and a half long, close to 2-year reign with the IC title to establish him to that main event level. This is just the hardcore fans know he's that fucking guy. But I'm trying to use the vignettes to elevate him. I mean, he won the Rumble and stuff, and he would have been booked strong on NXT throughout the year. But, just kind of trying to really hype him up with these vignettes and video packages and give him this presence that he's a fucking henchman. You know what I'm saying? Mensch. Ubermensch. Or some shit like that. Which he is. Okay. Another chapter of the vignettes or the story, the graphic novel that Malachi Black has created, they would be titled like chapter 1, whatever, or just maybe no suffix, maybe just chapter 1, chapter whatever. Another chapter, and this chapter would show the cracks starting to form in the group and the sensei abusing his power. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Also, Edge would be at ringside for the, tag match opening on. Like maybe during commercial, would come down and, talk some shit to them and stuff like that. Or maybe not. I don't actually really care. This week, we have a promo battle between Roman and The Rock. Roman would say that The Rock is just jealous that Roman has exceeded everything that The Rock ever did in WWE. And hell, he might just replace him in Hollywood too. You know what I'm saying? And soon. Rock says that the only reason that Roman isn't flipping burgers is that The Rock vouched for him when the entire wrestling world was rejecting him. And after what he has become, The Rock now realizes that he should have let him sink way back then. More or less. Obviously, there would be a lot of better stuff in there as well because it's fucking The Rock and Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so there you go. Let's go ahead and simulate these matches and bada boom, bada bing. This is going to be a long video, man. I know I keep saying it, but it's going to be fucking long, dude. Holy shit. Yeet. Okay, cool. The babyfaces are going to win this one. Whether that's due to... it'll probably be due to Edge kind of fucking with Priest and Ripley. John Cena's pinning Priest here. So... John Cena gets the win. Drew versus Seth. Seth gets the win on Raw. This match right here, Finn and JD win. And then they, do the same shit they did to AJ and injure Carl Anderson. So there you go. Finn can get the actual pin during the match. Becky Lynch defeats Charlotte Flair. I have this set up this way as a being like, this starts the show. This is our 8 going into 9. Or 8 p.m. going into 9 p.m., like 8:59, 9 p.m. Because I know they really like to have that crossover hour or crossover hours for Raw because it's a 3-hour show. I know they like to try and have something compelling there because it's, people might be tuning in at the time and you want people to stay if they do tune in. So I'm trying to follow that when I'm booking the card. Kind of thing. This match right here, this would be, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. kind of area to entice people to stay. And then in the main event of the evening, we got this match right here. I booked a specific finish sequence. I think it was Stunner, Haluva, Crossroads onto Solo. But let me just flip back and double check. Yeah, Stunner, Haluva, Crossroads to Solo, and then the babyface team celebrates to go off the air because they fucked on the bloodline and they kind of got revenge and all that stuff. So there you go. So I guess Cody pins Solo there. There you go. Cool. That's Raw. Let's move over to SmackDown. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with SmackDown. Let's get into the match card. All right, so we're opening up hot with the tag team titles on the line as the Hurt Business defend against Dominic and Rey Mysterio. Tegan Nox versus Peyton Royce. They set this match up, maybe social media exchange, maybe whatever. Peyton beat Shotzi. Tegan beat Billy. They're like, all right, man. Okay. Let's us two fight. You know what I'm saying? So, bada boom, bada bing. Ali and Mansoor, once again in tag team division, once again trying to stop their free fall down the card. But they got a meat mountain to overcome here with Boogs and Otis. Let's see if they can do it. I mean, you could probably guess whether or not they do. Bobby Lashley versus Ricochet. We'll get to why. Once again, Bate and Seven are placeholders for the Grizzled Young Veterans because I couldn't download them before they turned off the community creations. I can't do accents, bro. Fuck. Anyways, yeah. GYV versus Holland Sheamus. Pete Dunne lurking around. And then in the main event of the evening, the Gulak Invitational for the Intercontinental Championship. Chad Gable answering. You know what I'm saying? Let's get through the promos, brother. Okay. So, let's talk about the main event. Drew Gulak. So early in the night, they would announce the match graphic would just show Intercontinental Championship match, Drew Gulak versus Chad Gable. Drew Gulak would go to the general manager, to the production truck, whatever, and he'd be like, hey. He would go to the general manager early in the night, and he'd be like, hey, I need to clear something with you. This match is the Gulak Invitational. Officially, correct? And then the general manager would be like, yeah. And he'd be like, well, the match graphic doesn't say that. So I just want to make sure that in the paperwork and everything, it is 100% that it is the Gulak Invitational. And then Aldis. Why not? Who cares? I don't care. Aldis can be the default. Nick Aldis. Would be like, yes, Gulak, okay? Look, I have the contract right here. Drew Gulak Invitational, Intercontinental Championship on the line. Whatever the fuck. He'd be like, okay, good. They'd show another graphic. It would still be, just a singles match. He'd go up to the GM and be like, hey, look, they haven't changed the match graphic. I just want to make sure it's the Gulak Invitational. He'd be like, listen, yes, it is. If you want them to change the graphic, go out to the production truck. It would show him going out to the production truck, and he'd be like, hey, listen, you guys have been watching the show. I don't know why I have to come out here and tell you. You saw that Aldis confirmed that it is the Gulak Invitational. Change the graphic. It's the Gulak Invitational. That's important. He would make a big deal of it throughout the night. There is a reason why, and we will get to it when we simulate the match. So we will come back to that. But the Grizzled Young Veterans would Yep, I'm doing the same thing again, huh? I mean, you could guess, though, right? Yeah. Oh, well, it is what it is. We'll get there. It's a match. There's post-match stuff, but we'll get there when we get there. So it's cool. It's fine. We chilling, bro. We're flipping pages, bruh. Okay. That's also match dependent or result dependent. Okay. Lashley would have an in-ring promo this week, and he would just basically say, listen, I'm contractually obligated to have a match before this month is over. This is the last SmackDown that's happening this month. It's not for the title, because I'm not contractually obligated to defend it on SmackDown. I am contractually obligated to compete at least once a month. So, whoever wants to come out here and get their ass beat by the Almighty, come on down. Ricochet answers, as we saw. Murphy would come down to commentary during the match. Yeah. And there's more match stuff. You know what, man? There's so much result-dependent story progression. We're going to do it as we go this week. Just because it's all of it is after the match, this happens. After the match, this happens. So, there you go. Okay. Let's go back here. Okay, so, technically, Rey Mysterio and Dominic win because the Hurt Business get DQ'd to retain. So what we're going to do is... Yeah, we'll just have Shelton and Cedric win technically, but they didn't actually. So, they retain. They act all cocky and smart about it. General manager comes out and he's like, you know what? Nah, that's not cool. Here's what we're going to do. We don't have time on this show to restart it. Otherwise, I would. Because it's a stacked show. We're fully booked. However, here's what we're going to do. I know you guys wanted a vacation at Mania. That doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for anybody in this building. So you will defend those tag team titles at WrestleMania. Or else you will be stripped of the tag team titles. Also, if you get DQ'd or you get counted out at WrestleMania, you'll be stripped of the titles. And just to give the fans a show, it's Mania. Give them a good treat. You guys have faced off before. Spice things up. It'll be 2 out of 3 falls. There you go. Just something super simple like that. Peyton Royce defeats Tegan. Maybe they cheat to win. Maybe they don't. I don't really care. Alpha Academy win after more fucking hiccups between Boogs and Ali and Mansoor. Okay, so Lashley obviously Lashley obliterates Ricochet. It's basically a squash. It's a squash with a big hope spot. That's all it is. It's because it's Lashley. Murphy would come to commentary during the match. After Lashley wins, Murphy would take the title from the announcer because they hand it back to him or whatever, and he would get in the ring, kind of stare at Lashley, take the time to stare at him, give him the title, but when Lashley goes to grab it from him, he would kind of hold on. You know what I mean? Just to show Lashley, like, hey, man, like, I'm here. And the day's coming, you know? And he could, like, say that to him. And if you can read lips, you know, whatever. Or it's just a stare off. And then he lets go. And he, like, pats him on the stomach. And then he leaves the ring. And Lashley's looking at him as he leaves the ring kind of thing. But yeah, there you go. That's that match right there. This match right here, the Pete Dunne beats on, you know, the boys after. Maybe backstage to Aldis, they both, you know, say, I want my hands on him. I want my hands on him. The GM's like, you know what, man? You guys got it. Next week, triple threat. All 3 of you have at it, man. Whatever. So yeah, GYV win once again. Placeholders. Okay. Now we got some actual promo stuff, and then we'll get back to this. So, Bianca would call both people out that she's facing, Shayna and Io, in a promo that she has, and a brawl would start. Once again, security and agents would come and break it out. The general manager would say, listen, man, I can tell you guys can't wait till Mania. So next week, we'll give everybody a preview. Bianca, you find yourself a partner. Shayna, you find yourself a partner. Io, you find yourself a partner because we're going to have a triple threat tag team match. So there you go. Big promo from Mr. William Regal, who comes out. He calls out Cesaro and he says, you know, I thought about what you said, you know, last week. And at first I was hurt, you know, then I was angry, you know, but then I took a moment to what did I write there? Reflect. Jesus. He took a moment to reflect, and he realized that, you know, I'm barely hanging on by a thread. I'll be honest. I'm barely hanging on by a thread, as I am right now, and I might not be walking if it wasn't for you throwing in that towel, because you're right, I wouldn't have quit. And that made me realize that I'm probably at the end of my road as a professional wrestler. You know, I'm running on empty. You know, the gas light's on, I don't got much left, and I'm not going to be able to fill the tank up. You know, I'm almost done. So after a lot of thought and consideration with my family, with myself, I've decided that after WrestleMania, I will be officially retiring as an in-ring competitor. But you know me. I'm not just going to go lay down and die. I'm going out with a fight. So Antonio, here's what I'd like from you. I would like to team with you one last time next week on SmackDown. And then at WrestleMania, I want my final match in this industry, in my career, to be against you. Cesaro would look at him, he'd take a second, and he'd say, Mr. Regal, it would be my honor. Bada boom, bada bing. There you go. There you go. There you go. There would be a ding-dong hello on the show between Bayley and Sasha. They'd get into a heated argument and set up a match for next week. Okay, so back to this match right here. Gable wins. But I'm going to have Gulak win because he keeps the title. Yeah. Okay, so Gable wins with the Chaos Theory by pinfall. Very important. The announcer declares, here's your winner, and new. Gulak snatches the mic from them. He's like, no, cut the music. I don't think so. No. Cut the music. Everybody quiets down. He says, look, I'll give it to him. He won the match. But as per the terms of the Gulak Invitational, I am still the champion. If you don't believe me, the general manager, please feel free to come out and read page 28 of the Invitational contract. General manager comes out, contract in hand, takes a second, looks kind of like, well, fuck. Regrettably, Mr. Gulak is correct. Per the Gulak Invitational terms and conditions, Gulak can be defeated by pin or submission, or count out or disqualification, but can only lose his title if it is defended by submission. Therefore, the winner of the match is Chad Gable, but Drew Gulak is still your Intercontinental Champion. And then Gulak would fucking really exaggeratedly, celebrate, kind of like, ha, gotcha. And now it makes sense why he was so adamant that it is officially the Gulak Invitational, because he was a little scared, because he lost, but he keeps the title. What's going to happen, man? Who knows? Week 5. Bring it on. We're getting there. That should be his actual, just record me. Just let me do onomatopoeia for his fucking theme and then bring him back at Mania against Cody and have him beat Cody with me singing his song, Can you imagine that? Cody has an open challenge next year, in Vegas, because he's not champion anymore because The Rock won it at Royal Rumble, so he could be champion on Netflix, despite the fact that that's not even the right title on that brand, so everybody's saying that shit's literally fucking stupid. But it doesn't matter. So, we're back with week 5. AKA first week of April. Let's fucking go, bro. One match that we're worried about. There obviously would be many more matches, but we're only worried about one match from storytelling and fucking Mania building perspective at the moment, which is 6-man tag Imperium versus the mega baby faces. We'll get to how that gets set up as well. So, okay. We'll start off with Rhea and Trish. there would be a series of interviews, or basically like one big interview where she would talk about a bunch of stuff, Trish that is, and they would play it throughout the show. So like, she talked about her early career, and then her time off, and then her return, and then this and that, and what this means to her, and they'd play it throughout the night kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like documentary style. During one of them, Rhea would storm the production truck, you know, and then she would make them stop playing the interviews, and like she would threaten them. She'd say if they play any more, she'll come back and knock their teeth down their throats. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And then she would look at the camera and be like, "Hey Trish, no one cares about your little fairy tale, you know, or whatever you think you're doing here. We all know why you're here. Money's a little bit low, and you wanted to leech off the most popular woman in wrestling. You are desperate to steal the spotlight of the current talent, and that desperation is going to get you hurt, Trish. See you soon." Kind of thing. Bada boom, bada bing. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Now, Theory would have a promo explaining, you know, his attack, saying that, you know, John Cena will have a random tag team match with some people like who nobody knows but can't answer my challenge. You know what I mean? Like, what gives? Cena would come out. You know, Cena would say he wasn't answering his challenge because he doesn't think that Theory is on his level. You know, he's clowning around. He's not taking himself or the title seriously, you know. And it's really sad because he has everything that he needs to become a top star, yet he doesn't have the, you know, tongue-in-cheek, ruthless aggression to do anything with it. Says, you know, however, since you've decided to attack me, you know, I can't just let that go. Yeah, I can't let that slide. So you have your match. See you at Mania. I'll make you regret ever picking a fight with me. Kind of thing. Basically calling him out, saying he can be so much more, but he's not doing the right things to make himself that so much more. Kind of similar to his promo that they did in real life. So, yeah. I don't remember the specifics of that promo because I don't think I was watching Raw at the time, and I missed their opener of Mania because I was getting home from something, so I didn't see the video package. So it is what it is, man. Okay. Cody would have a promo early on in the night, maybe to open the show. Who knows, dude? And he would get cut off by Gunther. Gunther would say that Cody's been wasting the last month of his life, you know, and, you know, the last month of his title reign and all that stuff, getting himself involved in somebody else's business instead of worrying about the man that will defeat him for the title. And that is a very costly mistake. But beyond it being a costly mistake, you know, it is very disrespectful to the ring general. And that disrespect, you know what I mean? And it's very dishonorable. Disgracing the mat which is sacred. And for that, there are consequences. And then Kaiser and Vinci would come out and debut on the main roster by attacking Cody. Eventually, Kevin Owens and Sammy come in for the save, and then the general manager sets up a 6-man tag for the main event, which, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, that's that one right there. In terms of Mr. Finn Balor, Gallows would confront Finn and JD backstage. They would injure him. In the ring. They would injure him. AJ returns, runs them off, cuts a fired up promo, talking all this stuff. He wants Balor at Mania. Finn says, "You've got it, AJ. You and me at WrestleMania. if you can beat JD next week. There you go. So he's trying to weasel his way out of it. But yeah, there you go. So AJ and JD next week. Yeah. Let's see here. So to add on to the Gunther promo, just because I have like a page for the Sammy and KO stuff, and then I have a page for the Gunther and Cody stuff, and it's been overlapping. Let's see if I missed anything else involved in someone's business. Gunther would have also said, it doesn't matter to him in terms of the result of WrestleMania, whether or not he's focused on Gunther or not, because the result won't change. Whether Cody took the whole 6 weeks to go lay on the beach, Gunther would win. Whether he took the 6 weeks to bust his ass in the gym, Gunther would win. There is no outcome at WrestleMania other than Gunther winning and taking his World Heavyweight Championship. But then he would mention how it's disrespectful and dishonorable, and for that there are consequences, and then that shit came out. So just forgot one line there. Moving over to Malachi Black versus Edge and their build, because obviously it's going there. There would be another chapter of the graphic novel vignette stuff, and this chapter would show the pupils standing up for themselves and turning on the leader. There you go. Edge would be interviewed backstage, and basically in the interview he would say that Black should back up all of his words, or his little stories or whatever, inside of that ring at WrestleMania. Off screen, Black would accept. It would be like, oh shit, we just got word Malachi Black has accepted the challenge of Edge, or whatever. Or it would just be a little back like darklit room and be like, Edge, you've challenged me to a match, a fight at WrestleMania. I understand, but you're gonna regret it, because I'm going to make sure it's your last match. Or something like that, maybe. I don't know. Or just like you're putting yourself in the ring with someone who has the tools to take you out of the ring permanently. And that is on you. Just like all of this has been on you. See you at WrestleMania. Something like that. In a little backstage, little fucking, vignette promo thing. The Rock would have a rock concert this week, and Roman would attack him, and they'd brawl a little bit, and then they'd get pushed aside, probably at like one of the hour changes, you know what I'm saying, because it's not the main event. But yeah, and then in terms of the interpromotional triple threat, what are we doing this week? We're doing something else. Seth could probably just cut a promo, and LA Knight, could cut a promo on NXT. The Four Horsewomen thing, Becky and Charlotte would both have promos to hype themselves up and hype up the match. Becky, in her promo, would say, SmackDown's had a couple contract signings over the past couple weeks. Why don't we have one on Raw for this match next week? Something like that. And then, bada boom, bada bing, we got a contract signing next week. This match right here, there is bloodline involvement, and it becomes a no contest and a big show closing brawl where 9 men are just brawling with each other, beating the fuck out of each other. Utter chaos as we go off the air. But in terms of, I should have just pressed simulate all, and it would have given us a random winner, but that's fine. In terms of, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say, for the game's purposes, Imperium won. I don't really care, but there you go. So, that's Raw. Now it's time for SmackDown. Alright, here we are with SmackDown, dude. Let's get to it. So, okay. First match of the evening, we're starting out hot with that triple threat tag team match right there Bianca found Liv Morgan as her partner. Shayna Baszler found Sonya Deville as her partner. And Io Shirai found Xia Li, as her partner. Second match of the evening, one of the interpromotional singles matches to build the interpromotional triple threat. LA Knight, versus Drew on SmackDown. Bada boom, bada bing. Triple threat match between the formerly... The faction, the group formerly known as the Brawling Brutes. They have imploded a little bit. At least Pete Dunne has distanced himself from the group. Dunne, Holland, and Sheamus are still, in good terms. They both have a common enemy, in Pete Dunne after what he's done to them. So there you go. 6-man tag between Murphy and the Mysterios versus the Hurt Business. Every time I select Brendan's wrestling gear picture, and then it defaults to that suit picture. So that's fun. Bayley versus Sasha Banks, as announced last week. And then in the main event of the evening, we have William Regal's last ever SmackDown match. His tag match with Cesaro against the Grizzled Young Veterans. So, there you go. Okay, let's run through some of the stuff that happens. Really quick, Mansoor attacks Mustafa Ali backstage and blames all their failures on him. Simple as. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Later in the night, Ali goes to the general manager, says, I'm sick of Mansoor after what he did. Just please give me a match with him so I can end things and put him in the past. I'm so done with him. Give me a match with him. And, the GM agrees. So next week, Ali versus Mansoor. Okay. In terms of Gable and Mr. Gulak, Drew Gulak would come out with a PowerPoint presentation where he would highlight Gable's emotions throughout the ending sequences of their match last week. The jubilation, the glee in him finally winning his first singles title versus the despair and the distraught look of defeat when he finds out he didn't win the title. The general manager would come out and be like, Gulak, credit to you, well played. You snuck one by me and the management team and got one over on everybody. Fair enough. Fool me once, shame on me. Here's the thing. You will face Gable again at WrestleMania with that title on the line. And this time, just so there's no confusion, it will be a submission match. Good luck. Something like that. And then Gulak's like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? So, there you go. In terms of everything else, you know what I'm saying? We're getting there. We're getting to it, We're getting to it, man. Just let me cook, dude. We will get to that in a sec. Cool. Okay. So there would be a episode of the VIP Lounge, probably after this opening triple threat. Or actually, the VIP Lounge would probably open the show, and then this would be the first match of the night kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So VIP Lounge, Murphy would be on it, And then they'd introduce him, He'd sit down, and the first thing he'd be is like, oh, so you do know who I am. And then Lashley would say, of course I do. Of course I do. You're a great talent, Murphy. I'm just not worried about you because as good as you are, you don't have that next level of aggression, you don't have that next gear in you. You don't have that killer instinct in you that you would need to pose a threat to me. So that's why I'm not worried about you. But, last week, though, let's talk about last week real quick. Last week, you put your hands on something that does not belong to you. And there's a tax that you have to pay for that. and it will be collected by the Hurt Business. Boom, they start attacking him. Mysterios come down for the save. 6-man tag set up. You know, all good. All good in the hood, brother. You know what I'm saying? There you go. Is that all the promo stuff that we have, dude? I think so. I think that's all the promo stuff. Yeah, it's just match results and stuff now. Cool. Okay. Well, speaking of match results, let's fucking get to them, pal. Let's get to them, dude. Let's get to them, dude. Come on, dude. Yeah, fuck all that. Fuck all that noise, bro. Okay, cool. Simulate this one. Bianca Belair pins Xia Li. Cool. Drew McIntyre defeats LA Knight. Yeah. On SmackDown. Cool. Pete Dunne wins the triple threat. He can pin Sheamus or Rich Holland. I don't care. Doesn't really matter. But maybe in the match, you know, Sheamus and Holland's downfall, maybe they get the upper hand on Dunne, and then they both want to be the one to beat him. So they, you know, get in each other's way a bit, causes a distraction, and then Pete Dunne picks up on it. After the match, basically, what I'm trying to get to is that after the match, they would both kind of like be like, well, what was that? Like, you cost me the match. No, you cost me the match. You push each other. Then they start brawling. You know what I'm saying? To the point where they're kind of, you know, refs come down, break it up. Maybe we go to commercial. We come back from commercial. The GM, they're both in the GM's office arguing and shit like that. And the GM's like, listen, you know what, man? You guys want to fight so bad? Do it on another show. We're on the road to WrestleMania. These shows are booked. We're strapped for time. We've only got 2 hours on TV. If you want it, you got it next week, okay? Wait till then, kind of thing. But Pete Dunne wins the triple threat. The 6-man tag, Buddy Murphy pins Brendan Cabina. Bada boom, bada bing. So Murphy, there you go. Bayley defeats Sasha Banks in their match. And then in the main event of the evening, the Grizzled Young Veterans defeat Cesaro and Regal. Most specifically, Regal. They get the pin on him. They do. All of these other matches would be fairly short, as much as I hate to say it. Just more or less to give this tag match a bit more time, because it's his last TV one, and also because like they're gonna share the ring at Mania. 3 of the women in here are gonna share the ring at Mania. People in here are gonna share the ring at Mania. These guys aren't booked for Mania. I'm just gonna tell you straight up right now. They're gonna share the ring at Mania. We don't need to go all out with these matches, so they can be rather short and to the point kind of thing. Maybe not this one. This one can go a bit longer because it's a big match. But like this one can be fairly quick. Cabina's still kind of like a green rookie in the kayfabe, so maybe he's overzealous, and that's why he's the one that gets pinned. And it's kind of quick and to the point kind of thing, and you don't have to get much offense taken by Shelton and Cedric kind of gimmick. This one can be pretty quick and to the point because of the miscommunication. This one can just be like, you know, a little bit of time, nothing too crazy. This one can be a clusterfuck. It's a tornado in the game, so it could be a tornado in real life, so it's a clusterfuck, and it just goes home early kind of thing. You know what I mean? Anyways, what I'm saying is this match gets a decent amount of time, maybe like 15 minutes, and then the Grizzled Young Vets win. Afterwards, you know, Regal's kind of recovering, and he's kind of like chuckling to himself, like, yeah, man, like it's like I'm done. Like it's he can tell to himself, like, I don't have much left, you know? Like I can put up a fight, but I can't win the fight anymore. I don't have it in me anymore, kind of gimmick. Through his facial expressions. That's the intention, right? The Grizzled Young Veterans shake his hand, just like their heels, but you know, they have a tense stare off, and they shake his hand and thank him. Pete Dunne's there with them. He gets in the ring, shakes Regal's hand, thanks him, and then they head to the back, and then Regal gets some time to say goodbye to the SmackDown audience, you know, and we go off the air with him getting hopefully a round of applause, a standing ovation from the SmackDown crowd. So there you go. But yeah, the Grizzled Young Veterans win once again. Not Bait and Seven. The Grizzled Young Veterans once again. All right, on to the go home show, dude. Finally, 6 years later. All right, man. Finally, go home Raw, a little bit of NXT as well, and then SmackDown on the menu. Let's fucking do it, dude. Okay. In terms of matches, Austin Theory versus Tozawa. AJ Styles versus Jordan Devlin, aka JD McDonough. These are the Raw matches. I have a third match here that is on NXT. LA Knight, yeah, versus Seth Rollins. But that's on NXT. That's not on Raw. I just put it as the main event because it's technically after these two matches because it's on a different show. But it's, you know, the main event match, honestly, I couldn't tell you. It could be this. Why not? You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be a segment, obviously. It's Mania. I don't know. I feel like it's, you know, sometimes it makes sense to have somebody who's on Mania wrestle before Mania, but at the same time, it's like, why take the risk? You know, you can get injured in any match. So it's, you know, on the go home. But yeah, no, it's as long as people work safe, it's fine. Anyways, let's go over the final promos. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Rhea Ripley versus Trish Stratus. Promo segment where Trish says that the only thing she's desperate to do in response to Rhea's promo last week is to shut Rhea's mouth and beat some respect into her. Rhea rebuttals by saying something along the lines of that when she's done with Trish, this retirement won't just be a lie to sell tickets. She'll make sure this one is legitimate. You know what I mean? Something like that. Just super simple. Set it up. Bada boom, bada bing. Theory demands an opponent. And I'll just say it now. He fucking kills Tozawa. Like, he shows that ruthless aggression. Like, he kills him. Like, he fucking murders him. Like, it's a squash. But it's not like a quick, like, 2-minute squash. It's like, it's a squash, and he drags it out. And he, like, tortures Tozawa. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Cena's nowhere to be seen because he's a part-time movie star. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn cut a little promo. They're in the ring. They're talking about, you know, they're reuniting, how they got here, everything. And they're like, you know, this weekend it's WrestleMania. We don't have a match. The tag team champions, the Usos, don't have a match. So what do you say? The Usos defend the tag team titles against us at WrestleMania. The Usos accept. I will also say, they do not get permission from the tribal chief to accept. They accept, and then later on in the night, they're like, oh, yeah, you know, Mania goes down, Us. We're solving the Sammy problem. He's like, what do you mean at Mania? He's like, well, they challenged us for the titles. So we accepted, Us. And then Roman would be like, why would you accept a match like that without my approval, without my sign-off? What? And then, you know, something like that. So just a little, yeah. I mean, the promo itself would be fucking impassioned and all that stuff. Sammy cuts a great promo. Kevin Owens cuts a great promo. Sammy would talk about his whole fucking time in the bloodline and all that stuff too. You know, how he can right all the wrongs and all that shit. You know, I just didn't want to write any of that because I don't, yeah. There you go. Cody versus Gunther. You know what I'm saying? They would have a face-off that's kind of UFC style where, you know, maybe we could do a weigh-in. Why not? And then they, you know, do the face-off. The general manager would try to keep the distance, but Gunther would you know, step in a little bit and just be like, no, let's go closer. I don't know if y'all have seen that Conor McGregor, I think Jose Aldo face off, kind of similar to that, but just not as Conor McGregor, just like more like, you know, coming closer. You know, it's like, I can smell your fear, Cody. I can see it in your eyes. And then let's go closer. And you'd be like, enjoy your final week with the championship. Really, really enjoy it. Relish in it. Because come Saturday night, that championship is coming home with me, or something like that. Cody could say something back. I don't really care. The final chapter of Malachi Black's story would show up, and this one would be a preview, a premonition, but not Broken Matt, of WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? Edge would storm out, and just be like, listen, you know, Malachi, you came out here, you talked all this stuff, you attacked me, and then all of a sudden you attack me, I come back, and you go into hiding. You go into hiding, showing these little stories, these vignettes, these whatever. How about you grow a set, come out here right now? Black would decline, you know, and he would say, I'm not coming out there, Edge, because I want as many eyes as possible to be watching when I end your career in that ring. See you at WrestleMania. Something like that, you know what I'm saying? But there you go, dude. And then Rock versus Roman Reigns. Roman would cut a promo. You know, he'd be talking shit. The Rock's music would hit. He'd be like, oh, shit. Because I forgot to mention the severity of his attack last week after the Rock concert. Like, he would have put him through a table with, like, a fucking shield bomb or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So he'd talk shit. He'd be like, yeah, you know, after what I did, maybe he won't even make it to Mania. Rock's music hits. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Aha, I gotcha. It's a fake out. And then he's like, you know, and then his music hits again. And then Roman's like, didn't we already do that? And then it's actually The Rock. And he's like, oh, fuck. And then they would brawl. This would close out the show. Big pull-apart brawl. With Rock coming out on top kind of thing. So, there you go. Yeah, in terms of outcomes, Finn tries to cheat for Devlin, but AJ wins, which means AJ faces Finn at Mania, which is cool. And then we're about to get there, but like I said, I already actually, Theory fucking squashes Tozawa. So Theory wins. JD McDonough loses to AJ Styles. And then over on NXT, LA Knight, defeats Seth Rollins. So there you go. That's Raw and NXT. Let's go to SmackDown Go Home. All right, here we are. SmackDown Go Home, baby. Let's do it, dude. Okay, so Mansoor versus Mustafa Ali starts off the show from an in-ring perspective at the very least. Then we have probably the blow-off to this where it's like, okay, well, we've traded wins as a team. We've traded wins as singles. You know, you won last week, but we're not happy with it. Let's just fucking do one last tag match, and we're fucking out of each other's hair. You know what I'm saying? Bada boom, bada bing. Sheamus versus Ridge Holland. There you go. Brendan Cabina versus Buddy Murphy. We will get there in a sec. Six-man tag, we'll get there in a sec. This is the armbar, the Andre Memorial Battle Royal, but you can't do a Battle Royal in this game because of the character limit on the screen and stuff like that. So we just did a Royal Rumble. Hopefully it lets me simulate the actual winner. If it doesn't, it is what it is. So in terms of the six-man tag, you know, the general manager would basically announce, hey, six-man tag, Alpha Academy versus Gulak and two partners. Go find them, Gulak, or have a 3-on-1. But we're doing this tonight kind of thing. There you go. Just really simple. Bada boom, bada bing. You know what I'm saying. Okay. Yep. You know what I'm saying, bruh. Okay, cool. So for the tag team title match, there would just be kind of like a vignette. Or maybe they would just play the promo package for the match or whatever. Or they would just play, you know, a little thing of like, okay, maybe not the Hurt Business. Yeah, they would play a vignette of the Hurt Business and how they've, you know, kind of had a hold on the tag division for the past 9 months or so. And then they'd play a vignette based off of how the Mysterios, their intentions, their desires, their goal of winning in front of a Mania crowd and all that stuff. So there you go. In terms of Lashley and Murphy, let's see what happens here. You know what I'm saying? They would have like a face-to-face encounter, maybe to open the show, right? Maybe that's how we open the show proper. There you go, a little promo or whatever. And, you know, Lashley would be like I said, Murph, you know, hell of a talent. You know, you proved that last week. You had a great match. You had a great showing. But you still do not have that next gear, that killer instinct that it's going to take to pose a threat to me. Murphy assures Lashley that he does, and he can prove it tonight against him. And he points to Brendan Cabina. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, they have their match. You know what I'm saying? Bada boom, bada bing. There you go. For the women's triple threat, they would each have interviews with, or, you know, little, maybe like a promo where it's like an interview where they're just like, hey, this means this to me or whatever. Yeah. They would just each have like a little interview where it's like, hey, you know, I'm going to prove this. I'm going to cement my legacy here. I'm going to win back my title. I'm going to defend my title. And I'm finally going to blah, 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 blah. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. Just setting that up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I forgot to mention the contract signing on Raw for the women's for the Fatal 4-Way of the Horsewomen, because they don't have anything on this show, so might as well talk about it now. On Raw, there would be the contract signing for the 4 Horsewomen. They would all sign the contract, and probably Becky would go, well, it's a contract signing, right? So I feel like, you know, we'll follow the trend, right? And then she just like throws a mic at somebody and starts the brawl. You know what I'm saying? And then they would all have a brawl. And then maybe just a video package about it. Or the promo package. Or just nothing about it on SmackDown. Just keep it off. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, LA Knight, defeats Seth Rollins on NXT. Okay. And then the technical main event is a final promo by William Regal. I don't know if any of you have watched his promo before he faced Cesaro on NXT in 2013 in December. But it would be kind of like an elevated version of that. More or less, I would go watch the promo. If you're still watching this video, which, Jesus fuck, you know, I would go watch that promo by Regal to see what I'm talking about. It's one of the most compelling promos I've ever seen, because he literally tells you, I'm about to get killed, but fuck it, I'm gonna give him everything I have while I do. And it's like, it just draws you in. Like, it's one of the most like, hey, like, it's literally him just being like, hey, this guy's better than me, he's gonna murder me. You know? But it still makes the match intriguing. It still draws you in. Like, usually if somebody's like, oh yeah, I'm cooked, you're just going to be like, oh, okay. But it's incredible. It's an incredible promo. Basically a ramped up version of that. Go watch that and imagine a ramped up version of that, because this is his last ever fucking, it's not a, if this is my last time. It's like, this man is going to beat me to a pulp. If he doesn't hold back, he's going to beat me to a pulp. But, you know, all that violent venom coursing through my veins. So yeah, he gets this big promo to end off the night. So let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and get through these results. And we're finally ready for WrestleMania. All right, so Mustafa Ali defeats Mansoor. Cool. Iconic. The Iconics defeat Shotzi and Tegan. Sheamus defeats Ridge Holland. Buddy Murphy defeats Cabina. Buddy Murphy, not like Theory. It's not like a violent squash, but like he gets the upper hand, he wins, and once he knows he has the win in check, he just like keeps hitting big knees, his finish, his signature, stuff like that, you know. and looking at Lashley every time. You know what I'm saying? And Cedric and Shelton try to get in the ring, and Lashley calls them off, to save Khabib. And he's like, no, nope, let it happen. And then Murphy just hits a bunch of Murphy's Laws, wins, and then, stares down Lashley, maybe climbs a turnbuckle, fucking looks at him, does the belt around the waist gimmick. And, and they stretcher Brendan Khabib out. I will mention now that this is how I'm writing Brendan out of the roster. I had originally included him because he had started training to be a pro wrestler. And I was like, oh, that's cool, So I'll include him, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think he is continuing with it. I haven't heard anything from him in regards to that. So, yeah. So I just figured, if he's not still pursuing it, then I'll write him off. So yeah. It's cool, man. It was cool, though. I mean, that's somebody that I talk to on a semi-regular basis about football and wrestling. And, he was in my game. That's pretty cool. Maybe one day I'll be a character in one of these games, huh? It's probably not going to happen. I live in Canada and I'm 27. And I'm starting at 27 in Canada. It's hard enough for fucking anybody from Canada to make it, but, I'm going to still bust my ass. That doesn't matter, though, because that's not what this video is about. It's not about me trying to be a pro wrestler. It's about me booking pro wrestling in a video game. 6-man tag, you know the drill. Alpha Academy is going to win. Chad Gable will make Corbin tap out. Tap out. Excuse me. And Gulak's going to shit bricks. And then, there we go. It does let me pick. Thank fuck. Pete Dunne wins the armbar this year. There you go. I think that's all. Yeah, that's everything. That's the go home. This video has been very long. Tune into Mania Night 1 and 2. And then in 7 months when I get back to you with the build to probably Backlash. I honestly have not finalized which pay-per-views I want yet. I have to look at that. And, expect Clash at the Castle. The fucking Wales one. Just a year later than they actually did it. You know what I'm saying? Definitely keep an eye out for that. I don't know when in the year it'll be. It'll depend on when I'm booking certain things. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know what the fuck that voice was. Bro, I'm so tired. Fucking thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, share it to all your friends, comment down below, all that good shit. If you're still watching, leave your predictions for Mania in the description. Speaking of which, oh my fucking lord, my fucking shoulder is fucked, dude. But you don't care about that. So, what you care about is the Mania cards, right? So I'm so unprofessional, dude. It is. So this channel's cooked. I'm cooked. Okay. Mania Night 1. Sami and KO versus the Usos opening for the World Tag Team titles. They are not main eventing like they did in real life because my story was not as good as the one that WWE did. It ended up being pretty similar. Once again, I did not copy what WWE was doing in regards to that. I had a similar idea, which you saw play out, because they were teasing Sami and Roman during the pandemic. I was like, oh, that'd be cool. Let's play with that as a way to get Sami out of the conspiracy thing. And then it ended up that WWE did the same thing, except they did it in a way that was one of the greatest wrestling storylines ever, and mine was just a good wrestling storyline, I think. So, yeah, so they don't get the main event in my booking because my story to build them wasn't that good. Or it wasn't as good as it was in real life, in my opinion. So, there you go. Match number 2 on night 1, Balor versus Styles. Match number 3, Gulak versus Gable, Intercontinental title on the line, submission match. Match number 4 is the 4 Horsewomen Fatal 4-Way. Match number 5 is Rhea Ripley versus Trish Stratus for the Raw Women's Championship. Match number 6 is Cesaro versus Regal. Cesaro is putting his European Championship on the line. It's not a focal point of the story. It's a kind of thing where, like Cesaro's maybe interviewed about it, or Regal's interviewed about it, and he's like, yeah, well, he's putting the title on the line. Don't expect me to win it. I've been very honest with all of you. I'm calling it quits because I don't think I have what it takes. If I somehow win, maybe I'll think about continuing, but I think this is the end of the line for me. I just, whatever. So basically, for the integrity of the European Championship, it is on the line, but it's not a focal point of the series, of the story, of the match. And then in the main event of Night 1 of WrestleMania 39, Cody Rhodes defends his World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther. Night 2, we are opening with Rollins versus McIntyre versus LA Knight. Yeah. Theory versus Cena for the U.S. title, match number 2. Match number 3 is the Mysterios versus the Hurt Business. 2 out of 3 falls for the tag team titles. Match number 4, Malachi Black versus Edge. Match number 5, Lashley versus Murphy for the WWE title. Match number 6, Bianca, Shayna, Io Shirai. SmackDown Women's title on the line. Match number 7, Rock versus Roman. There you go. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much. Nobody's watching this far in. This is going to be like an hour and a half fucking build video. This is fucked. I'm going to go sleep because it's 1:30 in the morning when I'm finishing recording this. Yeah, man. Tune in. Leave your predictions down in the comments if you're this far in for what you think the results will be at Mania. If you're this far in, what are you doing with your life, man? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I appreciate you watching, and I wish everybody would watch this far in, but I understand if you don't, because it's literally just me booking. There's no gameplay. But it would just take too long for me to do gameplay. I'm going to quit yapping, bro. Thanks for watching. All right. Goodbye.